Hey guys, this is Prepping with Sarge. I am out on a little solo swamp walk, and I'm going to flip the camera here in a second so you can see some cool stuff. But I just wanted to talk to you for a second about safety when you're doing solo hikes like this and what you need to be aware of. So first thing we need to talk about here is when you're on a solo hike, my general advice is going to be to stick to the trail, especially if you're in an area where there's venomous snakes and things like that. So let me just kind of give you an example here. So if I go off trail here, do you think realistically, do you think you're going to spot a copperhead in that? They have almost perfect camouflage in nature, right? So the chances of you seeing it before you step on it is not good. And so generally speaking, depending on what time of year it is, in the wintertime, I'm more likely to go off trail a little bit, especially if I see some cool plant or something like that, or there's a wild edible that I want to snack on. But for the most part, this time of year and in the fall, when they're very, very active and they'll come out and they'll sun themselves, I will not step in an area like that if I can avoid it. If I do, I'm going to at least use a walking stick and try to make disrupt the earth in front of me so that I'm not surprised that I don't accidentally step on somebody and we both have a really bad day. All right, thing two is, depending on what part of the country you're in, maybe there's wild boars or bears or wolves even. Here we've got probably the biggest problem is gators. You want to make sure you are, I know I'm filming right now, but in general, eyes out of the phone, right? Like eyes paying attention to the ground in front of you where you're going. And you also don't want to be wearing headphones, generally speaking. You want to be kind of ears open too, because a lot of the wildlife doesn't want to deal with humans. They want to, they want to be left alone for the most part. And so they might give you a warning sign. Sometimes these gators will do like a growl, things like that. Even skunks, I know nobody wants to get sprayed by a skunk. They actually do have several physical warning signs before they spray, usually. Now, if you come right up on one and you scare it, there's no guarantee that you're going to get that warning. But most of the time, if they can, they're going to give you a warning. They don't want to use up their main defense. Again, just kind of paying attention. And I also like to make a little bit more noise than I normally would if I'm traveling by myself, just to kind of let the critters know that I'm coming. And then my last little tip is, of course, when you are hiking by yourself, to let somebody know where you're going and about what time you're supposed to be back. It's not a bad idea to use those apps like Life 360 and whatnot. Now, if you go way out into the wilderness, it may lose the signal, but it will at least ping your last known location, which is kind of good for people to know. Now, these are little cypress stumps out here and whatnot. I was told that there's gators under here somewhere. See if you guys can see them. Two hikers that I just passed a little while ago said right in this spot over here they saw a couple gators, so we'll see if you guys can find them. And I'm looking and I'm not seeing them, guys. Maybe they're directly under me, but not seeing them right now. I certainly don't want to scare one. Oh, they also said there was king snake over here, so we might see that. All right, let's keep going just a little bit more. So see right in the center of that screen, right above, when I pull my finger away, look right above where my finger is. That is a baby gator. They're a little bit easier to see than the adults, which means mama's probably around here somewhere, and I'm not seeing her, which makes me a little bit nervous, but we're just gonna, he's gonna move now. You can see his head now is to the right. I see once he comes past this plant. See his head? In between those two plants. So that's a baby gator. Let me see if I can blow it up a little. No, that's as best as I can get it. I don't want to get too close, because if mama's watching, she's not gonna be too happy. She's around here somewhere. Anyways, so there he is right there. Again, I'll put him right in the center of the screen. That's his head. And then to the left, you can see the stripes on his tail. So yeah, just one of those cool things. I was hoping I'd get to see at least one today. The babies are definitely easier to spot. So if I was going to give one last piece of advice here in terms of solo hiking, it would be also to think about your self-defense against the worst predator of all, which is the two-legged predator, right? You have to look at your local laws and, again, what your comfort level is. But at minimum, please, if you're going solo hiking, please carry pepper spray and a good knife with you. Depending on what your laws and what you can do there, you might want to think about something a little bit more than that, but that's of course up to you. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed this little hike with me, and I hope it was helpful. If you found anything of value out of this, please consider subscribing and hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to check in the description down below for some products and discounts that I think you'll like for outdoors people, survivalists, bushcrafters, and preppers. Keep planting your seeds, keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge. Folks, this video has been sponsored by APMEX. APMEX is my choice for silver and gold when I'm looking to add to my stack. As a prepper, I firmly believe that financial preparedness is part of preparedness. Gold and silver can be exchanged anywhere in the world for the local currencies. It can be traded and bartered in a SHTF situation. Pretty much the only time when it would not have any use is if the zombies rise and we hit a full-on world meltdown. But for all other situations, it actually is really handy to have some gold and silver on hand as a hedge against inflation and a physical store of wealth. APMEX, I've been using them for years. They always send me exactly what I've ordered. Prices are fantastic. Watch for sales, and I really can't recommend them enough. The shipment always comes in a discreet package so that the postal carrier doesn't know what you're getting, which is a really important thing when you're ordering silver and gold online. And like I said, I've been using them since, I think it was 2009, and always gotten exactly what I've ordered, always gotten it shipped really fast, never had a problem. Happy to partner with them and endorse them as my source of online silver and gold. Check them out with the link that I've got on the screen right there, or use the QR code. Tell them Prepping with Sarge sent you.